guys. How are you? And by you guys, I mean Kelly.
Am I enough for you, Sharon, this week?
You
Am I
are.
enough?
You may be too much for me
Yeah.
sometimes, Kelly. But I mean that in the nicest possible way. Adam is off this week. He'll be back for our next show.
hmm
So for today, we're going old school, straight up Kelly and Sharon.
Should I have put like tape?
Just hold your hand up there. Not here right now.
Yeah. This is awkward. Yeah. Also pulling on my neck. Yeah.
Yes, you don't want to do that. Adam's allowed to take some time off, and he did.
Yeah.
And oh, pardon my dog. He's here and hungry all the time.
Got it.
But for today, coming fresh off the Super Bowl, we're allowed to say Super Bowl, I think, because they don't sponsor this show in any way,
Yeah.
nor are we making any money off them in any way. But to be safe, maybe we call it the big game. No, Super Bowl. It's already done.
Can we call it the big bowl?
The big bowl game. Lame.
The
No,
bulliest of them all.
The bulliest of them all. Great game. So we'll talk about the game.
Yeah.
Obvi. But we'll also talk about a lot of the fun surrounding the big game. Now, halftime show, lots to discuss there because we ended up seeing a few previous halftime show stars in the crowd at the big game. And one of them was in a commercial with her hubby. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We've also got, Kelly's trivia to make you feel whatever level of smart. We'll see what her questions are like and then go from there.
Yeah.
A 90s rewind that'll end up being the perfect musical companion to your flashback. And of course, with halftime shows in mind, Rihanna did her homework before taking on the kabillions of people that would have watched that show and studied some halftime shows that preceded her. So I figured we should probably start there. How do you think she do? How do you think she do?
She is
okay.
She's one cool character.
Totally. Oh
Like
my god.
she's just cool.
Yeah. She seemed pretty chill. I know that I watched the interview with Michael Strahan that he had done a few days earlier, and he mentioned the number of people that would be watching her, and she's like, "Thanks a lot. Thanks for saying that. Really appreciate that." And he's like, "Oh, do you get nervous?" And she's like, "Yeah." But I think she went in prepared, which is to say that she's coming off of 7 years since her last live performance. And this is your welcome back. Nice pick, Rihanna.
That just shows you what a baller she is, that her first gig back is Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
And as you know, I work for the pop station, and I remember that between 2012, I think it was, and 2016, she released an album every November for 4 years straight.
Isn't that wild?
And then she's been on this hiatus now also for like 5 years at this point, like, or something like that. With, I think, yeah, her last album would have been 2016's. And I never know how they pronounce it. Is it anti? Is it anti? I don't know. It's ANTI. I'm not sure how she pronounced it, but that's the one.
It's funny to have such a powerful small word have multiple pronunciations in both
and make you feel stupid because you're like, which one is it really? And the funny thing is, I remember at the time Googling it. I'm like, how is she pronouncing this? Still don't know. Anyways. But I saw her perform at the Bell Center here in Montreal, I guess in 2016 or 2017. And she's just like, it's funny that she said she's nervous because like she definitely does not put that out on stage. She just walks around like a boss.
And she didn't look nervous at all. But you
have
to, yeah, I guess you have to shut it off a little bit in order to save yourself from losing your marbles in front of everybody. And then having to sort of literally maintain a balancing act on the stage that she put together. I can imagine that the show, I thought it was, fun to watch, and she's at a level now where there's so many hits that you miss the ones that she didn't do. But when you're granted like 13 minutes of performance time, you know that something's not going to happen. Some fans are going to be like, "Oh, I can't believe she didn't do this," or whatever. And then on top of that, I think it must have been amazing for people in Arizona at the game watching those visuals, the way she had those platforms sort of seemingly floating in the air. Real cool.
Yeah, right away I was like, this is a boss stage. Like the fact that it's floating all over the place, and she's just, and then also it was like so simple in a way. You know what I mean? It was her and her dancers. And I also like that she was like, I don't need anybody coming on stage with me, thanks. Even though she has like a million collaborators over her career. But
Like
she's like, nope.
huge names that she could have just called and said, "You want to meet me at the Super Bowl?" And they would have been like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And wasn't one of the rumors was Drake and another one was Jay-Z, and Jay-Z was there. Wasn't he
Mhm.
her? I think he was her musical coordinator or something like that, or something, right?
Oh, I'm sure he
As
helped her probably plan out her medley or whatever.
So naturally, this was all a part of the rumor mill as to who was going to be showing up. So when nobody did, you're like, that's right. It's sort of like a retrospective appreciation for what she did because she did it on her own.
Hmm. And
Like
even her outfit, right, which obviously showcased baby bump number 2. It was
no
just so
kidding.
cool the way she did it too, because she was like, here it is. Like,
Yeah,
it was just so great. Like, she was just chill. And it's funny because I saw the video of her coming off stage. And again, like, she seemed so happy with what went down. She did not look that she had been nervous at all. Like, and even on stage, she did not look nervous. Zero. Like,
hmm
0% did she look nervous. She just looked like she's like, I'm here.
Well, I think that's what my guess is that you get to that level of performance and you know that you're performing in front of that number of people, at least the ones that are there, and what was it, like 60,000 people at least
Hmm.
uh there,
Yeah.
and the millions of people that were watching around the world. I think you have to be able to shut the emotions off to a point where you know you're not dead to it,
Yeah.
but that it doesn't affect what you have to do. And I think that's
Yeah.
a certain next level superstar, and she's clearly that.
Yeah. She's also the most, or the highest paid female artist on the planet, I believe.
Pretty incredible, eh?
Yeah. And
I think
also,
it's
I
the
remember reading, I don't know if I told you this before, but there was an article that came out like maybe 2 years ago. Um, she has the most return on her influence. So, like with her fans. So, like if she's like, buy Kleenex, like X amount of people will buy Kleenex because she's told
really
them to do it.
wow.
Kleenex, if
Well,
you'd like to support our podcast.
please buy us some Kleenex. I'm just kidding. We don't need Kleenex. We need straight up cash.
Yeah, exactly.
But for Rihanna, what she had said, I like that she had studied previous performances, and one of them was Beyonce,
Mhm.
obviously. You say obviously because she's Queen Bee, right?
Yep.
Um, but that was 2013. That's 10 years ago that Beyonce did the halftime show. Why does it seem like 10 years ago seems like a million now? Like, or that she just did it a couple of years ago. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it feels like. 10 years ago is an eternity almost, especially when you think of what she had in her halftime show, which was, she welcomed Coldplay, Bruno Mars, huge names. And then she, got Destiny's Child back together. Like, what the heck? That's incredible. So to
And didn't
contrast that with Rihanna doing it on her own is
yeah.
pretty amazing.
Didn't Madonna have Beyonce come out? I know she had the people, not, why am I saying
Oh,
Right Said Fred, not Right Said
LMFAO,
Fred. The ones who had that,
LMF,
yeah,
LMFAO.
LMFAO, they came out. And then did she have Nicki Minaj come out for her also?
Ooh, I don't remember that.
But there were, because she did,
There was somebody else. Yeah.
Katy Perry did 2015, I believe it was, which already is like bananas that was that long ago. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny
Yeah.
because I saw this article also. Clearly, I read lots of articles, by the way, because I keep mentioning that I've been reading articles. Um, but they had an article about the like this particular author of the article's top 7 picks of like best Super Bowls ever.
Yeah.
And I was impressed that they said Katy Perry because it's true. Like Katy
hmm
Perry's was, she had Lenny Kravitz, she had Missy Elliott, and she had her hits, and she had the big lion and left shark.
Yeah. Again, you think of like it would have been fun for Rihanna to have somebody, but it's also good to have a reset point of, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
This is the halftime show. And it should have been enough,
Yeah.
and I don't think that there was any negative reviews
No.
aside from maybe people wondering, how come there wasn't a guest or whatever. But when you
Yeah.
get to a point where there's big names like Beyonce, Madonna, Katy Perry, who bring other big names in their halftime shows, when is it enough?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like she had to bring it back here and just make it a good, solid show,
Yeah.
which I think it
Did the
was.
weekend? I can't. He did it 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Did
His
he?
was a bit different too.
His was different. He spent $7 million of his own money on it.
Yes.
So, because I just found this out today, and maybe because I read another article, Sharon, I've been reading lots.
Not another articles. Where do you find the time?
On my phone. So, I mean, I think I knew this already, but like was reminded of the fact that the artists do not get paid to do Super Bowl because their return on investment is that there's so many eyes watching that their streams are going to go up. They're getting lots of influence that way. So they don't get paid. The sponsors pay for the halftime show. So because, all of this costs money to put on, and that's why The Weeknd, he put in $7 million of his own because he wanted to make sure it was like to the level that he wanted it to be.
Right.
And as far as I know, he's the only one that's ever paid extra.
Isn't that crazy though when you think of it? You're not going to get paid for the Super Bowl. We as a league will continue to charge millions and millions of dollars in advertising time to, other businesses. We can't give you any money.
Yeah.
It's a bit ridiculous, especially when you consider what is the return on streams? Like it's fractions of pennies, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Like you have to get a lot in order to get anything. So
yeah.
It's a bit lame, I think.
J'agree.
Oh, very Francais, Kelly. Why don't we get into some trivia?
Yep.
Yep.
Should I tell Adam
for some
maybe
now's
the yeah. Adam, as you're editing this, let's put in that theme song music. Yeah. So I thought we'd just have fun tonight. So or today I should say. So I really wish you luck on these ones, Sharon.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. And one of these, I think you're going to get this first one for sure. So news and politics. In 1992, the FDA in the US announced a voluntary moratorium on the use of silicone what?
What year?
92.
Why do I want to say breasts? Breasts.
Yeah. Implant. Breast implants. Silicone breast implants.
Finish the thought, Hyman. Breasts. Implants. The whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Cabooble.
Yeah. My aunt, did I ever tell it cabooble? I like that. My aunt years ago had to have a breast reduction. And I feel like I've told you this, that when my mom and my aunt, so her sister, were younger, they were known amongst friends as Buster and Chester.
Stop it.
I hope right now that Rachel and Caroline are laughing their roots.
I hope they're not driving.
Yeah.
Really? That's a lot to know.
Yeah. I feel like
having a dog called Chester.
Yeah.
And that I call him Chesty and it makes me giggle.
Yeah.
Buster and Chester.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They were well endowed. And my aunt, pardon?
They were well endowed.
Yeah, exactly. And my aunt, who rest in peace, I hope she's laughing her rear end off right now. I hope she got a good giggle on that one. So I remember finding this out as like, I want to say like a late stage teenager and being appalled. Like appalled.
Yeah.
Stop
talking about
it. And I think this came out at like a New Year's Eve party or something. Like it was all, and they were laughing. Like it was so funny. Like Buster and Chester, like so great. So yeah. So anyways, I love my Aunt Lynn so much. So rest in peace, Aunt Lynn. I hope you're laughing. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I realize now in hindsight, I missed an opportunity to get them t-shirts that said Buster and Chester.
I'm thinking how they didn't need the t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not. No.
The aforementioned Buster and Chester.
And I remember my uncle, their brother, because this all came out, I'm like a Christmas or a New Year's Eve party, just laughing and laughing. Like that was hilarious. So yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about question number 2 then?
Yeah, here we are.
As good as that?
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. So inline skates are more commonly known by what name?
Rollerblade.
Go, girl. Who needs Adam?
If you could give easy questions like this every show, that would be good.
Yeah, just for this week. So back to
I
you.
loved my rollerblades.
I've never tried rollerblades.
What?
Never.
Do you know how to skate?
I do. I know how to skate and I know how to roller skate, but I've never.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
well, those are two different things, as you know.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, if you're using um, women's skates, it's the same as roller skating. You're pushing off the pick in women's skates. But
Right.
for boy skates,
Yeah.
whatever, those are the skates I wear. You're pushing off to the side, so it's similar to that's like inline skating.
Okay.
So, because roller skates have the stopper at the front, so you push
Yeah.
off that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
there's oh yeah, there's a brake on the back of inline skates, so you're putting your feet a foot up.
Oh,
So
right.
put
Okay.
yourself to a stop like that. Can you see
I
my
felt
legs?
I would kill myself, so I've never tried
Well,
it.
there's all kinds of like padding and stuff, right? You can get the knee
Yeah.
pads, the shin guards, the and wrist ones were always I used to wear them on my knees because I always envisioned myself hitting a rock and going flying.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, it's probably not going to happen. But now that you've thought of it, like it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I wore the wrist guards because your natural inclination when you're falling is to put your hands down.
Yeah.
And that was broken wrists were a pretty common thing
Yeah.
for inline skating. So
Yeah.
I did that.
Did you have any incidents or were you?
Did I ever fall? I never fell, I don't think.
Oh, that's good.
And it's learning how similar to skating when you're learning how to skate when you're young. Um, Sort of jumping off into the snowbank is helpful. So learning how to, step onto the grass and walking, you can end up walking on your rollerblades and that's fine.
Okay. I remember
But no,
seeing a few people like whiz by me when they were all the rage, and I was like, that's risky. Yeah. So
well, we have, when the Grand Prix, which is a famous F1 event in Montreal,
mhm.
and the track, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, he was a famous racer. Obviously, anybody who knows racing knows that. But we have the circuit in Montreal, and we used to host back in the 90s. We hosted like rollerblading events where you would come and you have a chance to win rollerblades or chance to win movie passes or stuff. So we would do these things on Wednesdays and we'd skate the circuit.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which is perfect because the only cars that are allowed on it are during Grand Prix.
Right.
Not so no other ones. So you could walk, cycle, or rollerblade. And so the surface was super smooth. There was no potholes or anything that
Mhm.
Montreal is also known for. So it was like a great workout.
Amazing.
Dudes.
Yeah.
All
I missed
right.
out, Sharon.
Well, there's still time, Kel.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Don't want to kill myself. Nope.
How about this though? The line, grab me a glazed. How amazing. Not only funny to see Ben Affleck working the drive-through at Dunkin' Donuts, but to see his wife drive up and say, "What are you doing?" I thought that was amazing. Ben
Yeah.
Affleck and J-Lo in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial for the Super Bowl was incredible. I just
Yeah.
thought it just showed how I think easygoing they are, how regular in their superstardom they are.
Yeah.
And him talking about how growing up in Boston, that Dunkin' Donuts is like their logo. If you've ever been to Boston, you know their logo is Boston runs on Dunkin'. Like that's their
Oh,
go-to
is it?
coffee place.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's like he says that, that's right, when I'm there, that's the coffee I drink. It's total like Dunkin' Donuts are everywhere in Boston. And certainly not as frequent in LA. He says so his teenage girls are like, okay, you know. um but yeah, he talks about being in Little League and after the game going to get some munchkins at Dunkin' Donuts. So it was so he says people probably already think I work there, which I thought was great. But I love
Whoever was in the
how
marketing department, had a good plan to hit him up too. Cause yeah, it's hilarious. I saw the part with J-Lo and I love how she's so good at anything. You know what I mean? Like she's
yeah,
obviously gonna be super serious actress, but then she's really good at comedy also, I find. So
yeah.
yeah.
We just watched the movie. And why am I blanking on the name of the
Oh, is it the
movie?
one with Josh Duhamel, the new one?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
What's it called?
It's like
Destination
early
Wedding or
proposal or something, or like
oh,
shotgun wedding. Is that it?
Shotgun Wedding. That's
There we
exactly
are.
it.
Was it good?
Yes, surprisingly, because I had heard that it wasn't.
Yeah.
and I don't normally listen to reviews
Yeah.
because, especially if it's someone I don't know, I find that professional reviewers tend to give you too much. And obviously, it's their job to give you their opinion, but it tends to be too much of their opinion to cast a shadow on what I would like. My wheels turn, so I start thinking about what they're saying and what that will mean. And oh, okay, well that must mean it's going to end this way. I just want to be able to go in clean, you know.
Yep. Yep.
And I had already heard from a couple of people that were like, it wasn't their best or wasn't their best or whatever. And I thought, it looks like it's going to be funny. And it was different,
Mm-hmm.
but it really was very entertaining. Like
That's
there
what you
was
want.
surprise twists and action and stuff. I thought and laughs too. Like it's a pretty solid cast.
Great.
Lenny Kravitz, come on, nice to see him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought they did a great job. Really worth it.
That's amazing. Then was it on Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix or Crave.
Okay,
Was
cool.
one of
Yeah,
them.
I'll give it a go because I knew it was coming yeah, usually I love anything that JLo does. So
She's good.
she's
And
my
she's good
girl.
in an action angle too. Like she's good as she plays regular really well.
Yeah.
Ultimately is what I'm going for here. Regular until, and then when she needs a shotgun, she can do that too.
You know what show that I'm blanking on? Was it called Shades of Blue? Her one that
Oh yeah.
I love that show, and he's now passed away, which is too bad also, but and I'm forgetting the name of the actor who was the guy from Goodfellas, right? Him?
Joe Pesci?
No.
Oh, Ray Liotta.
Ray
Yes.
Liotta, him. Yeah.
Yes.
They were on that show together, and so was the chick from Sopranos, Michael's
Edie Falco?
girlfriend. Sorry?
Not Edie Falco. Oh, that girl. Yeah, yeah.
Her. Why am I forgetting all the names tonight? Anyways,
I
her, the
know.
blonde girl.
The one that who was with Christopher.
Christopher. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That one. I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. Anyway, she was great in the cat. It was such a great show. And I think they did 2 or 3 seasons, maybe. It was great. I think it was called Shades of Blue. Anyways, very sad that it was over, and obviously sad that he passed away. And I think that's already been over a year, right? Or 2 years since he passed. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I can't be expected to remember if you don't, Kelly. And that
Yeah,
show
I
was
know.
2016, by the way.
What was 2016?
And it's Drea De Matteo.
Oh, Drea De Matteo. Yes, her. Mm-hmm.
It's normally Adam that will find us the answers to
I
these
know.
questions, but I've snuck off to the
Stepped
internet
into the
and
role.
I did it. It's exhausting.
Good job.
Whew.
Amazing.
Yeah. What else do we want to talk about today, Kel?
You let me know when we talk about listener mail.
Oh yeah, you want to do that before we do
Your rewind?
90's rewind? Yeah.
Sure.
We got some mail.
So we got some again, we get lots of comments on the YouTube channel. And so we got some comments from Rachel and Caroline.
Rachel.
Yep, because Rachel, CJ, they missed us so much last week.
Oh, that's nice.
And they said that we
Ew.
really do bring like entertainment and light and joy to their lives. So I thought that was really sweet. And I'm not trying to blow our own horn. I just really appreciate that they would take the time to send us such a kind note. And we'll keep striving to be goofy as per usual. So
well, I followed through on my commitment to at least trying Kath and Kim.
Oh, did you? How'd that go?
It went really well. I think I'm only 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
But it's so funny to watch.
Yeah.
It's got such an interesting flow to it that and they're quirky characters.
Yeah.
And I love Sharon.
Yeah.
She's such a she's a woman of the world, this
Yeah.
character. Oh my God. Funny. When they
I love that actually now, like I just realized that show has a Sharon and a Kel.
Yeah.
Yep. A purveyor of fine meats.
It's funny. What was he talking about? She was worried about someone being gay, and he said, "Well, I was in the Navy, of course." Kind of thing, like, of course I've tried things or whatever. And she was,
yeah. Was that was the episode where she was concerned her daughter was gay, right?
Yeah, because it was so like sitcom-y of
the
way things were going. She was like around the corner overhearing something or hearing sounds or whatever, and oh my God, they are funny. Like,
yeah. And her home perm nightmare is amazing.
Oh man.
So good.
You know what it is? Like, you're like, look at it. She's just so confident.
Yeah.
She's not like, she's not in your face. She's not cocky. She's happy with herself.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's so
And
funny. They are very,
Elaine
very
is very much into it. So all of a sudden she'll be like, it's nice, unusual, it's different. Like I did that randomly
Yeah.
throughout the day.
I love that. It's nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a couple lines though, like you get wrapped up in it and you sort of have to like get into the groove of the
Yeah.
dialect almost, just
Yeah.
because I'm like, I gotta get better at it.
Yeah.
So my process has started.
Yeah.
Rachel,
Yeah.
keep on trying. Okay.
Hello, Sharon. That's great. Anyways, so that's our
Sharon
listener
character
mail.
too. She's great.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for sending the mail into our mailbag, you
Yeah.
guys. No, we appreciate the feedback. Obviously, ultimately, we're happy that we're connecting with you guys on any level. So thank you for letting us know that you're out there
Yes.
when we're trying to be out there. Hey, let's bring it back in here for a second because we'll do a 90s rewind. We got news earlier today that Dave from De La Soul had passed. 54 years old. Sort of hits home for me, Kel, because that's how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
too young to go. A major influence in hip hop. And that album, 3 Feet High and Rising for De La Soul, was just like that's a starting point for a lot of people. If you're unfamiliar, obviously there is your go-to starting point. But influential in within their friends, like the people that have expressed their gratitude and their friendship and their rest in peace wishes have included a lot of big names, not the least of which Chuck D. Like
Yep.
Chuck D is, it doesn't get much bigger than him, but referring to Dave as his brother, I think is
Yep.
saying something really nice. And also the way things worked back in the day,
Yes.
like 3 Feet High and Rising came out in the spring of 1989, and the way releases worked, and kind of still do today, which is weird. The record company will release singles. So singles were still coming from that album almost a full year later,
Mhm.
which is why we're going to take your 90s rewind to around this time in 1990 because it got me thinking of that song Buddy, which it seems like everybody was in that video. Everybody from A Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip is in the video, has a singing part in that, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, and all kind of having fun in this seemingly low budget but super fun looking video.
Mhm.
And it really honestly felt like I was back in 1990 watching it. So that was really cool. Along with Roxette.
Oh
Same
yeah.
deal. That song was released late 89 and we were still enjoying that chart wise in 1990. That would have been their hit before It Must Have Been Love, actually.
Mm.
So it wasn't just a big ballad that set the tone for Roxette. We were into them way before that. Also, we'll wrap it up in a couple of tune flashbacks with a now element too, but the B-52s and Rome
Mhm.
was featured on 11 on my speakers. Same deal with, and I thought this was interesting too because I love Chicago. I love a horn section. What Kind of Man Would I Be was on the charts around this time in 1990 for a band that got its start, more than 20 years prior to 1990. That they were still effective and making good music in 1990 was impressive still, and not for nothing. They're a great band. Now, to
Mhm.
wrap up this flashback, I go to one of our early guests on the show, Michael Bolton. Remember, Kel? What would Michael Bolton say? You'd ask him a question, he'd answer. That was before we had video proof that no one was actually here. So, Michael Bolton's "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You" rounds out our 90s rewind, and it brings us into a now element because he was on the Kelly Clarkson show last week,
Right.
and he has got something going on. I don't remember the name of his supposed syndrome, and I say supposed because I don't know for sure that he has it, but the internet says he does.
Okay.
And so when she introduced him as a guest, he was already there, seated, didn't walk out,
Okay.
and his movements were minimized. It didn't seem like he had a lot of range. But vocally, he was there. It also seemed like he was a bit softer in his delivery.
Yeah.
And this is me just way over analyzing. So it seems he's got something.
Oh.
But like she was talking about, you know, she to him was saying, "You're one of the best voices out there. What you do to a song is incredible." And he said, "I think that about you." And she's like, "What?" Like she totally wasn't expecting the compliment. And he says, "When I walk by the TV, and your show is on, and I hear you singing, I stop and I sit and I listen to your notes." And he says, "And they're all perfect." And she was somewhat stunned by it because she is Kelly Clarkson. There is zero wrong with her delivery.
Yep.
She is that damn good. And that she is, at a point where she's just that comfortable. She's not braggy. She's humble.
Mm-hmm.
For her to watch her get compliments like that she is so deserving of from someone who is totally knows what he's talking about was such a nice moment, I thought, to tie it in, to the 90s
Mm-hmm.
now. Like she's a student of her craft. That is obvious.
Oh yeah.
But she appreciates the feedback and what she gets from someone like Michael Walton being that good. That has to mean something.
Did you see her and Pink together?
Yeah. Like I could
How
watch that all day.
how amazing. I was like, I was just like, when are they going to drop a single? When are they going to drop a single?
No kidding. And that's another thing. I mean, Pink is amazing. She knows what she's doing. She's such a strong delivery. Her performance is very physical, so to be able to deliver vocally and physical
Mm-hmm.
is a challenge that she meets every single time. But Kelly, watching her watch Pink and just fitting in, like again, she just knows what she's doing. She's
Yeah.
that skilled a vocalist. I thought,
Yeah.
and it was just amazing to sort of Deb and I are watching like,
Yeah.
look at how good they are. They were just so good and true. How come that hasn't happened yet? How come they haven't
I
released a
know.
song?
It's crazy. Also, I like that Pink describes herself as an aggressive hummingbird.
Yeah, I like that
That
too.
was the best description of herself ever. It was accurate. So,
Yep, totally,
yeah.
totally. Well, Cal, I've talked your ear
Yeah.
off.
It's not a lie, Sharon, lady of the world.
Oh, you do. Yeah. Who are you calling a lady? We'll be back again for another dose of 90s now
Mm-hmm.
in a week or so, and Adam will be here for that, and that'll be great. So
Yep.
fear not, he'll be with us. But thank you again for dropping stuff in our mailbag. We appreciate that very much. For finding us wherever it is that you do. Hey man, thanks. You know what, Kel? Side note for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks back, if not a few weeks ago, we've been ending the show with you offering up new music. Do you have any today? And
Nothing
it's
of
okay if you
note.
don't, because the fact that Sam Smith's Unholy was one of your early suggestions,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it is as huge as it is right now
Thanks, Sharon.
gets you applause.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Like you were on that right away.
Yeah. It
That's
was sick. The minute
that's
I heard it,
adventurous, right?
I was like, this is going, and it was different for him also, like different from his
Yeah.
sound. And by the way, if you really want to see Sam's, and I apologize because I think I just said his, so my apologies, Sam's Instagram is a good place to see their transition of their I guess like ease with fashion, or
Yep.
their next level of fashion that they've gone to, because before Sam was always in suits and now embracing so much color. Like it was always like black suits and, tuxedos, all that. And now Sam is in all this like fluorescent colors and just reds, and they are just, it's incredible. The stylist that Sam's working with, and just the amazing, I think, understanding of their, what they're wanting to put out in the world. So,
Yeah, their confidence is evident.
yeah.
It's nice to witness that. It's pretty cool to be on the receiving end of that sort of a transformation, to see people come into themselves.
Yeah,
Obviously,
because you
no
can tell
secrets like
Sam is
that.
now where they need to be.
Yeah, yeah, and
And I
especially
feel
giving
like
a hand up to others, right? Like,
and I feel like if George Michael was still alive, they'd be buds.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of George Michael, we have to talk about the Rock Hall nominations, the long list. Anyways, we'll probably talk about that next time.
Okay.
George is on it.
I love George.
I love it too. I love it too. I love George also. How about that? Is that better? Way better.
I'm sure George, wherever he is appreciating our support.
Yes, our repartee.
Remember when we used to make fun of him falling out of cars? No.
Yeah. Buckle up, George.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did not die by falling out of a car.
No, he did not.
No.
I love George so much. I was just thinking the other day, I'm not lying, how much I miss him. I literally, like, I think he's the vocalist I miss the most. Like, I miss him so much. Yeah. And I feel like there could have been so much more, especially after he did Symphonica. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, and I'm so grateful that, well, you and I both saw him in 2008 here in Montreal. And
oh my God, that was a show and a half.
Yeah.
All right. We said goodbye like 5 solid minutes ago.
Yeah, okay.
We're still here though.
We're like Cher on the Goodbye World Tour.
Cher and Kiss, the farewell tour that lasts 35 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you for listening to 90's Now. Still happening.